This is the Heavyist Podcast. Let's fucking go!
Yo, what the fuck is up? It's the Heavyist Podcast, weekly worship of the altar of motherfucking radness. Also appearing now in a video format, Gary.
Hello,
I can
everybody.
see
You can see my face. I'm sorry about that. I apologize in advance. You having to look
you look
at
lovely,
me.
Gary.
Oh, thanks, man.
I like your newly blackened wall. It's very nice.
Yeah, I'm living my best teenage goth life. I had one of my walls painted black. It's fucking amazing. I'm really happy with it. It's just
One
a
of our
black wall.
mates.
I don't know why I'm so psyched about it, but I am.
It's always the dream. Like one of our mates, Giles, he had a black wall in his room when we were kids, and it was fucking awesome. I remember he did a huge Metallica sign on it in pencil, but like on it, but weirdly, pencil on black wall actually looks kind of sick.
Yeah,
like,
I can see that.
Kind
Yeah,
of
I
get
can
away
see that
with
working.
it, and it looked pretty fucking badass. I'm sure I'd laugh at it now, but it definitely looked hella sick at that time when we were just like blazing, looking at Metallica on the wall.
Yeah, dude. So you're right.
This podcast is going to be a nice one. We've got a chat. We've got a chat coming up with Drew from See You Next Tuesday, which is going to be fucking awesome. We are stupidly stoked on that.
Very much so.
Their record last year was grindcore album, heaviest grindcore album of the year. Gary,
Heaviest grindcore album of the year. No higher accolade out there.
None. Not even a Grammy. Like none of that.
Fuck a Grammy. Grammys are bullshit. You want to get
bollocks,
heaviest
man.
album of the year. That's what you want to get. That's what bands are aiming for now. No, I had to spin through like the See You Next Tuesday back catalogue earlier on while I was sort of writing out some things to chat about. And God, that band just fucking rip in every
They're
sense.
amazing.
I can't wait to chat to the dude. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah. So I think we're just going to throw to that now with the magic of video editing. Yo, so we're joined with Drew from See You Next Tuesday. Is like some words that I can't believe is coming out of my mouth. This is really, really cool and surreal and lovely and awesome. Like, we're fans of you guys from back in the day, and like I used to go to like college, and like my friends would have like a See You Next Tuesday t-shirt and shit like that. So for us to be like speaking with you on a podcast now is pretty mad. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I did just get booted out and came right back in.
You're now in here twice.
Oh yeah, fine. I can see. That's all right. I think it's going to be fine.
Okay. I think you were talking. I just didn't know what you said, but I came back in to what appeared to be the tail end of a compliment. So I'm going to say thank you for that.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah, we'll just roll in with that. Oh man, Drew, thank you very much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Did you say it's about 3 p.m. over there for you?
Yeah. Yep. I'm over in Michigan. So Michigan, United States.
Lovely.
Yeah, I guess.
We're in England on a prestigious Pancake Day. I don't know if you're familiar with Pancake Day over there, but it's a very, very, very big day in the British calendar.
Is that are you fucking with me, or is that real?
No, it's a real
thing.
Oh, well, like in America, there's always like, on Facebook they'll have like these stupid things. It'll be like today's ice cream day, today's like mailman day, and like dumb shit like that, and none of it means anything. It's just some fucking asshole somewhere is like, I'm gonna post a picture of a pizza and say today's pizza day.
No, it's one of the major holidays. It's right up there, I'd say, Gary, isn't it?
It might be one of my favorites. Yeah, you get to eat for dinner.
Is it one that you like? People get paid time off, like our banks closed today?
Oh no, I wish.
Unfortunately, not quite.
So It's not like an Independence Day for us, you know.
It's right up there. We don't have too many good holidays, but Pancake Day is one I fully get behind.
It's got
That's awesome.
something to do with Jesus, but I'm not really sure how it ties in. But I like
Did
pancakes.
Jesus eat
so whatever.
pancakes?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
he did.
it was well into pancakes actually.
when he rose from the dead. He had pancakes. It was the first thing he did.
Zombie Jesus ate pancakes. Oh man.
Yeah.
That
For some reason,
I don't know. Is that
albums.
is that even kosher? I don't know. Oh my god.
Maybe. Gary, have you had any pancakes today? Have you had them yet?
No, mate, I haven't. I'm having to delay it
Quiet,
till tomorrow.
you guys. It's like 8 p.m. where you guys are. You're well past pancake time.
Yeah, I'm having some post-podcast pancakes, mate. It's going to be fantastic.
There you go.
Star.
Yeah.
I like how
Ours are a
we've-
bit crap over here, though. Like in England, sort of, I feel like it's only really been sort of in recent memory that it's been infected with like the nice way of doing pancakes, which is like the American ones where they're all puffy and fluffy. Like generally they're like crepes and they're
That's what
just a
you would
bit
call a
crap.
crepe, yeah. I
It's
like
really
them like
sad.
that.
You just put a bit of lemon on it
crepes.
or sugar and it's a bit rubbish.
I don't mind crepes if they're done like a crepe, but I can understand going into pancakes and getting crepes. I'd be upset. It's a vastly different. It's a vastly different food.
I feel like you've been ripped off, absolutely. I love how we've got Drew from See You Next Tuesday here and we're just chatting about pancakes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, why
It's,
not? Let's just do it.
Food's an international language, Gary.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It really is, man. I'm not even a big pancake eater either, but I'll talk about them. Shit, you know. I don't. You know, it's weird because like I remember being in the UK and I had your English breakfast.
Oh yeah.
And I don't recall pancakes being on the part of that. It's like beans and fucking a giant sausage and like mushrooms.
Black pudding? Did you get any black pudding?
Probably.
Crazy.
I'm not a big bean guy. I don't just love beans. I like maybe in a burrito, but like for breakfast, I was like, this is. But I'm a worldly person. Like I'll try anything once if it comes to food. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if we ever get to tour somewhere cool, like Thailand or something like that, you better believe I'm gonna eat a fucking snake. You know what I mean?
Oh fuck yeah!
Definitely.
If it's brought to the table, like, hey guys, we got your food for the night. It's snake, just like live ass snake.
Little shots of venom as well to go with it. Delicious.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man. Yeah, we could talk about pancakes for 20 more minutes, but we should definitely ask you about a couple of riffs.
Maybe we should get
All right, yeah.
topic. Yeah.
Some of the heaviest, right?
Yeah. So we were absolutely blessed with the new album from you guys last year, Distractions. It absolutely fucking blew us away.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of like returns from sort of bands that we've loved from back in the day that we've seen sort of in the last few years. You've had like Misery Signals came back, other stuff like bands like Agony Scene that I like loved, and they've been sort of there's been sort of varying degrees of success, but it felt like with you guys it fucking absolutely flawed us, man. It was such a brilliant. It was probably like the best return album that you can think of in recent memory. It was just, it felt like a band coming back, like not out of like necessity. Because let's face it, nobody's chasing that grindcore block. Like nobody's coming out for that grindcore dollar, right?
Unfortunately, not booked for When We Were Young festival, are you? Which
That's
is a real
the truth.
So it just felt like an album put together for people like just the love of the game. How sort of long coming was it for you, and how was it sort of putting that together?
Well, Distractions for me was actually kind of like a turning point in my life type of situation. Honestly, the name is so meaningful in itself, Distractions. Writing that record was actually my distraction. I am somebody that is not allowed to drink alcohol, and for a couple times in my life, I thought it would be a good idea to start a drinking habit, and they went awry both times. And back when I'm 40 now. When I was 33, I was in like a place where I was like, I hadn't had a drink legally in a bar as an adult yet. I had a spout with some alcohol as a teenager, and I spent my entire 20s and in See Next Tuesday not drinking. And I was in a place in my early 30s, and I was like, I'm going to start drinking, blah, blah, blah. And then, you fast forward to COVID, and it just like reopened old wounds. And it turns out that, I'm a big piece of shit when I drink. So not necessarily that, but it was more just like I'm the type of person that will drink to excess every time. You know what I mean? Like if I get a droplet of liquor on my tongue, I'm a bottle of gin down, Wow.
Yeah.
And October 19th of 2020, I took my last drink, and my wife was going through some similar stuff, and she kind of was the catalyst for it all. She took the power and was like, we need to change, and we both did. And her and I both haven't had a drink in over 3 years because of it. But so, COVID was tough for a lot of people. I was a mailman, postman, during COVID, and my wife was a hairdresser. So her career stopped, and she got, stuck at home. And my job turned into a 70-hour-a-week.
I was going to say, yours went insane, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just judging by the amount of stuff that my wife bought during COVID, I can imagine you would have been
Oh my God,
busy man.
yeah. And then to make it all worse, and in our country, fucking Trump decided to give everybody like $1,000 check with his signature on it because he's such a fucking piece of shit. So then everybody that was sitting at home was just like, oh no, this is money, let's fucking buy everything. all the while, Jeff Bezos is just like...
Yeah. Wait, so you got $3,000? I don't think we knew about that.
Yeah, what's it called?
You didn't hear about that? The stimulus checks? Yeah, it was like $2,000 per adult.
We got...
Fuck.
And it was just like, where did we get this money? We didn't. We just went in debt. And like literally, like the people that got it as a direct deposit, Trump was like, I want my signature on this. I want people to know it came from me. So like you got a letter in the mail saying that you got this direct deposit, and then that was signed by Trump.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Did you keep yours?
No, I promptly threw it in the fire. It was funny too. In our country, there's a lot of people. It was very divided during that time when Trump was reigning supreme. And there's these people, these Trumpers that were like, yeah, if it's not your president, don't cash that check. And it's like, man, do you know how much fucking tax money I pay in every year out of my check?
Exactly.
This is just my money coming back to me. Like this, it's not a benefit. It's for somebody that doesn't work, that doesn't pay taxes. They just got a free $2,000, man. I have a steady, stable job. I pay taxes every year, so it's like that. They just... They gave me $2,000 of my dollars back. Thanks, you fucking idiot. So yeah, it just I worked my ass off, and I'm kind of like sitting in my studio. You can kind of see like I have like some studio foam and stuff on the walls, and I had like a little studio setup. Honestly, like I've always been, after See Next Tuesday kind of disbanded, or we went on hiatus, or whatever you call it, I did a lot with electronic music and stuff like that. So I just kind of had like a home studio, and, I made little songs, and, I have my mandolin and my banjo, and I write stupid, bluegrass tunes, and just have some fun, and like, just having this stuff around was obviously a big part of being able to do distractions. But ultimately, my wife was just like, you've worked your complete life, this entire year, you've worked yourself to death. She's like, you should buy yourself something really nice. She's like, what's the guitar you've always wanted? And I used to call them lawyer guitars, but I got it right here. It's a Paul Reed Smith. Yeah, and when I was like in my 20s, I was playing Ibanez's and Jacksons because that's what a 20-year-old can afford. And you look at these like, $2,000-$3,000 guitars like a Paul Reed Smith. I'm like, I'm never ever going to be able to afford something like that. So I always considered it a lawyer guitar because like those are the people that buy Paul Reed Smiths. The lawyer that has. Like who's buying $8,000 guitars? Guys that cannot play guitar.
Yeah, it's like Johnny Depp pretending to play some guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I it wasn't the color I wanted because it was COVID and there's no supply chain issues were wild. I ultimately ended up buying a second one, which is hanging up back there somewhere in black because it's got to be black. Oh. But yeah, so I bought this guitar and I had a bunch of recording stuff and I just kind of started toying around with different guitar tones, and then I bought like a drum plug-in, to program drums and stuff, and then it was this guy I ended up buying. I'm sure you guys have seen this guy before.
There he
Beautiful.
is.
The chainsaw boy himself. So in case anyone's wondering, Distractions was literally a tube screamer into an HM2, the whole guitar tone. It's funny because a lot of people that liked Parasite, those are the people that there's a group of those people that'll message me on the internet and be like, why does it sound like your guitar is underwater? It's like, well, it was an HM2. I wanted it to sound filthy, not articulate. So yeah, I started, I bought an HM2. There was like a local one, somebody was selling it for like $100, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll buy an HM2. That's good. Ooh. Yeah, yeah. And nowadays they're like $300. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and it became like a tone journey, really. I was just recording guitar tones, and next thing you know, I started like kind of structuralizing some stuff, and the first track I ended up writing was "What a Funny Girl You Used to Be," which was like the first opening track of the record, outside the intro. And I showed it to the dudes, because we had like a current lineup. I do a lot of air quotes. I apologize for that. We had like a current lineup because starting in like 2016, we did like a festival. In 2018, 2019, we played some one-off shows. Like Arsonist Get All the Girls came into town and they just bugged us for like 3 months, like play with us.
Brilliant.
And yeah, so we did some random stuff. So we had a lineup that was Fox, Rick, and Andy, our original drummer, and then Rick, which was actually our second bass player, but he was like the original bass player before we really started touring. Because he just wasn't about the touring life back then. But anywho, so I showed the dudes the song that I had, and it was very raw, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't mixed great, it was just some tracks that I had put down, and everyone was just like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then, fast forward like another month, I wrote This Happy Madness, and I sent that to them, and they're like, oh, this is kind of cool, this one's got pretty heavy. And I wrote another one, and then it was Hey Look No Crying. I think it was the fourth track I wrote. And I remember sending that one out to them, and they, like, all of them just were like, oh, shit, Drew's writing an album. And so it's funny. That's why we ended up with that one being the first single. I wanted it to be Why Can't You Behave, because that was my favorite off the record. But Hey Look No Crying was like the first one that like made them wake up and go, oh, Drew's writing music.
This is going to be real again. Like
This is it. Yeah. So yeah, it was one of those things too where Distractions was definitely a project. I worked on that over the course of about a year and a half. But I was still working. The world was still getting over COVID. I was still working a lot of hours. I still have, a life. I have a wife and 3 dogs and a kid, and so there's stuff that also was there that took up my time. So it's not like I was in my 20s where I could just sit around and try to write a new record. So yeah, it kind of just started coming to fruition, and then that's about it. You know, it just
Nice.
it really was just my way. Like I said, distractions. The title, you know, it really was just my distraction. You know, like
yeah, keeping you.
Every time I was like having a hard time or had a shitty day, and you know, I'd want to go to the bar or go to the liquor store next door. Instead, I just would be like, all right, I'm gonna go sit in my studio till 2 a.m. and not sleep, but wake up not hungover. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Take it out on your PRS rather than your.
Exactly. Yeah. Beat that little bitch up.
When you were writing it, were there any specific like influences? Was there anything sort of like going on with like modern stuff that was like influencing you or anything like that?
Yeah. There's a couple bands. During 2022, there were two big records that came out that were huge influences on me. It's I think they're from Finland or Sweden, somewhere in Scandinavia.
Are you going to say Four Limbs?
No. Vizdude.
Okay, I really thought that was going to be close. Weekdude, yes.
Weekdude. Is that how you say it? Say it for me.
God,
so we're not 100% right, but we got some Belgian people in our Discord, and we got them to say it out loud for us. And I think the closest I can say it is Vigadode.
Vigadode. Okay, I just say Vizdude is how I've always pronounced. I figured
to see them,
I figured
and
they
I was just
had
calling them Ouija Dude until then.
Yeah, I figured the W was a V sound. I guess that was my best guess there. But yeah, there's always blood at the end. Oh my God, I remember. I follow like a black metal playlist on Spotify, and I remember hearing FN Scar 16 and just that. Oh my God! And just that little vocal, that little. And then like from there to the end of the record, their drummer's doing this.
It's fucking crazy how intense it is. Yeah.
That was a big one. And then the year prior, Last Days of Humanity put out the Composition of Decompositions. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
I don't know that.
They're from the Netherlands. They're a gore grind band from the 90s. And in 2022 or 2021, they put out 2 records. And one of them is one of the hardest hitting gore grind records ever. But it's called the Composition of Decompositions, I believe.
There it is, Horrific Compositions of Decomposition. Last Days of Humanity 2021.
That opening track, like, I'm not kidding you. I did a video for Lambgoat recently that was like 5 records I would take to my grave. That one was my 5th because, like, dude, I heard that opening track on there. I've never heard anything heavier. And I'll die. I will die on that hill. I know there's all these like metalcore bands that are like, yeah, but we use synthesizers to be heavy. What? Like this song here is just pure bludgeoning of heaviness. It's fucking disgusting.
You're speaking.
I'm looking at them.
You're speaking our language.
Yeah. I'm looking at just on Spotify, and that opening track has like 272,000. Everything else is around like 30,000, 40,000. But that opening track seems to have gone very far. It's fucking
nasty.
Awesome.
It's very much gore grind. So it's the pitched vocals, the guttural stuff, and the undiscernible guitars. But and then I guess Author Punisher too. He was a big one.
Yeah.
That record that came out back in 22 as well, and even Beastland. Like I discovered him during COVID, so I had been listening to Beastland for like a year and a half at that point, and man, just like his whole attitude towards music and like bringing electronic music to a performance. Like I remember watching his Vice interview. Like he did a little video. And it was inspiring to me. I remember like listening to his record and going back through distractions and being like, is this good enough? Is this good enough? This is what we're up against. You know what I mean? Like I had a different eye for it. So yeah, I'd say those. Yeah, those 3 records for sure were on, like 2021, my Spotify Wrapped 100% Last Days of Humanity was my #1 played record. And then for 2022, same thing, was the Vigadude and Author Punisher were like neck and neck for like how many, I mean, and I'm a mailman, like I wear earbuds, and like I go into a day and like I'll work for like an hour in the office, and then for the rest of my day I'm listening to, earbuds, whether I'm there for 8 hours or 12 hours. Like I got music playing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I've just seen a picture. I just looked up to Author and Punisher then, and I forgot he's got that fucking thing where he does it live, hasn't he, where he's like,
yeah, dude, have you guys ever seen him live?
No, just videos online.
Dude,
I've never actually been.
You have to. He's playing here in Detroit. Again, same venue. It's a small like 250 cap room. He's playing here in a couple weeks, but it's so cool. So he's got this like thing that goes over his mouth that has like multiple microphones, and like each one has a different effect on it. And then he's got like his percussion thing, and then he's got like
fucking Ripley fighting the alien. It's so awesome.
Man, it's like seeing someone's like level of like musicianship. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I realize that he's not like classically trained in piano by any means, but I feel like innovation is just as reputable as being a theorist in music.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes that kind of stuff can get in the way, can't it? Because you kind of get strung up by tradition, and if you don't have that background, then it kind of frees you up to just fucking do what you want. And it's fucking cool. And inventing your own instruments and that kind of shit, cool as fuck.
Yeah, it's inspiring for me, for sure.
So, I mean, fast forward to this year, you guys have got the new album coming out.
Friday.
So it's this Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is this.
So Relapses coming out. It's coming out on Good Fight, same as Distractions. And what's so cool is like I can't ever tell you like a remix album that I've ever given a fuck about before ever. Lots of bands have done it.
About one was Reanimation by Linkin Park. And that was a while ago.
Hey man, Remanufacture by Fear Factory was a fucking ripper.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we were really excited because when the initial posts and stuff go out about it, it's like just felt like such a cool idea where it's not just like handing the track over to a DJ for them to just come back to something that's just like not really for the fans of that music were originally. It feels like it's such these really cool like natural evolutions, and they're sort of like stepping into this almost like cyber grind territory and a lot of it and stuff like that. And I really like that actually, because it's like the only actual way to make like See You Next Tuesday any harder is just to get some robots in. It's pretty fucking fantastic. But it's so cool that it's you've had all these sort of really cool collaborative ideas. It's not just something it's like a fully formed album release. It's not just something that's bundled together, farted out on a deluxe edition, like so many things are. The way that you've gone about it and all the collaborations are so sort of cool and creative. Like, what was the sort of the spark for doing it so well, like when a lot of people don't really?
Man, that's a loaded question, isn't it? I guess it was one of those things where when I first started this whole thing, it kind of began as like an exercise, almost like an artistic exercise. One of the things about me as a writer for music is, I've always been kind of a writer of one. Like Parasite, I wrote in my head. I worked out the parts with our drummer. He had minimal input into what we did. And then, and Fox had pretty much autonomy when it comes to writing vocals and vocal patterns and things of that nature. But I even back in Parasite, I named the tracks. Like that was my thing. Like that's why they were dumb
Yeah, I was going to say, you absolute legend.
Well, there are all those track titles from Parasite were like quotes from TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
Like
One of these
the
days
Eight
I'm gonna
Dead.
fuck me a fish.
Yeah, that's from the show Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like Eight Dead, Nine if you count the fetus was from this cop show called The Shield. Right, where like this bank got shot up, and like the opening scene is like, how many victims do we have? And they're like, well, 8 dead. Well, 9 if you count the fetus and the pregnant lady. Yeah. So then, then Intervals was like an actual band collaborative. Like we wrote that going into the studio because we were on tour so much, and when we were home, all we did was get together and we try to write this record. So it was a big collaborative thing. There was a lot of mixes from everybody. That's why it was one of the reasons it was so vastly different from Parasite, even though it was only a year after it. The other thing is my musical taste had matured a lot. I found Rotten Sound and the glorious HM2 that came along with it.
Oh yes.
And yeah, then you fast forward forever. Sorry, I kind of had like a brain fart. What were we talking about for?
Well, you were saying.
What was the question again?
You were saying about how you're a one-man band. You kind of.
Oh yeah. That's where my point was going. I'm sorry, I lost track of my own fucking thought. I smoke a lot of pot. I'm sorry. Anyway,
he's high as fuck right now.
Yeah. I have a half-hour commute home from work, so I generally bring myself a little treat on the way home. So
lovely.
And I literally got out of work a little bit early to make this. So, but yeah, I'm stubborn. Admittedly, I'm stubborn. It's one of those things where it's like, especially with distractions. I spent so much time in the background writing this stuff, and then when it came time to Fox doing his lyrics and stuff, we butted heads a lot. Because he came in and listened to the song for a week and was like, hey, can we change this? And I'm like, dude, I've been listening to this song for 8 months this way. No. So, you know what I mean? So it's we had a lot of butting of heads. And for this project, I wanted to completely relinquish control.
Awesome.
So when I got these artists involved, so really my only control was curating the artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone that we worked with, I'm a fan of. You know what I mean? All these groups and bands and artists are all people that I listen to on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Nice. Some of them I have actual relationship, like Rich Lombardi, him and I have been buddies forever, and Child of Night, Jonathan Thompson used to be in the Heartland with our drummer Jimmy. So there's connections to different people and stuff. But again, I'm a fan of all these bands. So when you say that it's that it's a remix album that actually sounds like it's doing the band justice that they're remixing, I really applaud you for saying that, because that was my goal in picking these bands. I went, Zombie Shark and Death Trippa and Reckless Life, they're all these noise artists. Thought Crime is cyber grind, and so it's all these people that I knew going into it what their output level was like. I knew that God of War was going to have something disgusting and droney, and he did. And but again, it was one of those things where I gave the artists the multi-tracks. I gave them the individual tracks for whichever song they were on, and just let them go hog wild. I had no input on it.
That was going to be one of my questions. Do you literally just send them the stems and just sit back and wait to see what happens?
Literally, yeah. There was a couple Zombie Shark.
Room.
What was that?
Oh, sorry. Go on. I'll ask. I was thinking.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say Zombie Shark was one that he had sent it to me and wanted my advice, I guess, or my input on it. But other than that, for the most part, I actually saw Melody from Thought Crime on tour. We were in her town, so she showed me what she had so far of the song, which was awesome. So I mean, little tidbits here and there.
Yeah.
John Connor was like splashing some stuff on the internet here and there, so I got to hear some of their stuff. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was just like, just do your thing. I don't want to be, and that's the thing too, is like I did 2 remixes. Actually, I did 4. So I was busy doing stuff in the background as well. I had other stuff to work on and all that stuff. So,
I was going to ask about like the Gold Room, because the other ones are sort of there as like edit. It's like Black Magnet edit, etc. But that one, it's like collaboration with Frontiera. Is that just because? Is that like, what's
new
the
track.
difference with that one?
Yeah. So if you look at Distractions, there's only 13 tracks. Relapses is 14. So the story goes, and this is actually the catalyst behind the whole idea. So Strange Music, the closing track on Distractions, which if you bought it on vinyl, that's the side B. Side B is just the one song. And that song originally was about 12 minutes. And I admittedly was listening to way too much Author Punisher at the time, and it kind of evolved into, like, after the arpeggiating guitars, where it does end up stopping, it kind of like culminated into almost like these trumpeting synthesizers, which is all ended up becoming the Gold Room. So essentially, it was just something that Fox and I, like, we listened to it a few times. We're trying to decide what to do for vocals over it, whether or not it was even done. And we're just like, you know what? I don't think this is for this record. You know what I mean? Like, the side B thing, so it's supposed to be so separate. I recorded different guitar amp. I used, different stuff to try to make that side B song sound different than side A. But at the same time, it didn't need to go into this 4-minute industrial thing either. So we cut it. And then I just had this music, and it was really cool. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. Maybe I'll try to finish it. So then I kind of just started brainstorming about maybe doing a remix thing, a la Fear Factory, blah, 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 blah. And it kind of came to fruition that I was like, you know what, this track should be on this record, and maybe I can find someone to collaborate with me. And even though Frontier was the last group to join us, it was one of those things where it's just like I didn't know who. I'd reach out to somebody and we'd start talking about it, and they'd pick a track, and I'd be like, okay. And it just never came up that like I found the right artist. And then just one day I was like, shit, I talk to Pedram every once in a while on the internet. Maybe he'd be interested. He's a fucking genius. And I know he's got a lot of experience with electronic music, He does a lot of the programming and stuff for him, and sectioned and stuff like that too. So I just reached out to Ped and was like, hey dude, I got this random shit, got this whole thing going on. In lieu of that, do you want to finish this song with me and have like a bonus track? And sure enough, the next day he replied, and we kind of started going on that. And I sent it over to him, and he basically like stripped it down, took all my percussion out, threw it away, and took like my main bass line of synthesizers, like those, the very beginning of the song. You hear it kind of almost sounds like orchestral, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like that. That was some of the stuff that I had started doing. And then he adds in these like super industrial, just smashing drums, man. The drums he added to the track were sick. So he kind of structuralized it, put the song together, added the percussion, added the breaks, and a few other things, and then sent it back to me. And then like the moment I heard what he did, I was like, man, you know what this needs is like just a chainsaw Rammstein sounding guitar part, you know what I mean? So just like so I fucking ran a 5150 with a fuzz factory, just get disgusting, and yeah, I added the guitar, sent it back to him, and he was like, "This is fucking brilliant. I love this." And then we just kind of went back and forth 2-3 times. You know, at that point, he basically just gave me his feedback. Was like, "Hey, maybe edit this, or maybe do this or do that," and kind of went back and forth. And then Fox wrote all the lyrics up. He did this nice little Word document that was like color coded. I went over to his house. We recorded Fox's parts, sent it over to Chad and like Chad was already tracking stuff for Frontierer, which I don't know if I'm sure you guys are Frontierer fans, being in their neck of the woods.
Sure. Very much so. Yes.
Yeah. They have some secret stuff.
They're fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait. They've never made it over here, so I'm trying to push for like trying to somehow make like a Relapse Fest work.
That would be fucking
So
cool.
if I can ever get them to come to America, I'm gonna fucking pay for John Connor and those two brothers to fly out. Are you a fan of them guys too, by the way?
Honestly, I've
John
only
Connor's
really
something
come
I'm
across-
familiar with.
Yeah, I've come across bits.
Are you familiar with? They're in a band. The two brothers are in a band called LLNN.
Yes, we know
Yes.
LLN very well.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
Okay,
band
so it's
fucking rule. Yeah.
so it's Rasmus and Ketil or Ketil, I don't know how to say his name.
Okay.
It's those two brothers.
I never knew that.
I didn't
Yeah.
either.
So
'Cause the only-
John
the only
Connor
time-
is just their EDM version of
Yeah.
the same stuff.
Well, the only times that I've come across them is like they did some remixes of some Cabal tracks, right? And I think they're the main things that I've heard of theirs. And like I think they did like an EP which they had Andreas from Cabal on as well, which I think is where I've come across their music in the past. But their track on Relapses is a fucking banger, man. It's like proper like ravey, like blood raved, like
Proper Blade.
Yeah.
We Friday when the release drops, there's going to be a short film to go along to that track.
That's
awesome.
Did you guys see our video we did for we call them the I'll Nevers? It was a 2-part song for I'll Never Be the Same and I'll Never Smile Again. Did you guys see the music video for that?
No, I didn't. I could have liked
Okay.
it.
It came
I would've
out.
felt bad about it.
Yeah.
I would have felt bad.
Yeah, go on at some point on our YouTube. There's a 2-part video for I'll Never Smile Again and I'll Never Be the Same. The same guy that did that video did a video for Desired Departure, and that comes out Friday.
So that's the same guy. I was trying to look that up before this actually because I saw the tease for it, but then I realized it's coming out when the album comes out.
Yeah, it's like a release day feature type of thing. But it's like a short film, dude. Like this, I'm not even kidding you. Like, he's going to submit this for a film festival even. Like, it's... Wow. I was watching this video, and, like, there's parts of it where, like, I got goosebumps. And then at the very end, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, it's definitely like, shit. Like, there's a part where the music stops, and there's, like, another 20 seconds. And it's just... It's chilling. There's no parts, there's no spoken words, it's just film, like videography, and it's absolutely chilling. Fantastic. So I'm really excited, and to pair it with like one of the most banger songs on the record too. Like those two brothers know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to making music. Definitely. Yeah, LLNN is one of Fox and I's favorite bands, man. They're so good.
Yeah. Mate, that Unmaker, we do our like end of the year stuff. That Unmaker was my favorite album of 2021. God. It was just so horrendously heavy. I just love it. It's
and they had the dude from Cryptopsy on a song too.
Yeah,
mate, so sick.
They're amazing.
So sick.
I pussied out of a festival. I went home the day before they played because my tent. I got rained out, lost everything. Lost all, I had no clothes left. Lost my tent. I tapped out.
Sucks.
It was pretty bad. I gave them a lot of shit for it, but it was pretty bad.
And they were playing, and I missed them.
It's 11:30 in the morning. Can you imagine, like first band of the festival?
I hope we can make it back over there because Rasmus is also. Are you familiar with the band Eyes?
Yes.
Rasmus is also in that band too, or maybe his other brother. One of the two brothers is in that band too. And between LLNN, Frontierer, and Eyes, like we got it covered for Europe, man. We need to make our way over there because
Definitely.
Yes, you do. Come on down.
we're gonna try, you know.
Lineup, man. Wow.
All right, dude. I'm saying.
Holy shit.
Oh
Get
man,
Hexis on to open as well. Fuck it.
Hexis. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Mate,
go.
talking about Hexis, did you see Hexis did the longest tour in the fucking world? Did you see the tour?
Yeah, they
that
played in like India and stuff.
It was fucking bananas. It looked like it was 6 months back to back. It wasn't
That's
that long, but it was
cool.
insane. It was so long. It was phenomenal.
The drummer that's playing with the Sawtooth Grin right now is John Carroll,
Yeah.
who
Horse
used
the
to be in the
Band,
number. Yeah, he did the Horse the Band world tour. I think that was 3 straight months.
Yeah, that was
that they
insane.
did a
played
full U.S. tour, full
everywhere.
European.
Yeah.
They did Southeast Asia. They did like China and India and Bangkok. Like, dude, all those like. They went to Manila, Philippines, like Jakarta, all over the place, man.
I went to the UK, one of the UK dates in Bournemouth. It was absolutely fucking
Oh, nice.
brilliant.
We right around that same time, we were on tour with Number 12 like you, and we broke down, and our merch guys stayed to get our van fixed, so we kind of rode in the vans with everybody. So I rode with Number 12, and like I shared a bunk with John for like 5 days or so till our van was fixed, and he met back up with us. And he was telling me about that tour. Like they were in the midst of planning that tour while he was on tour with me, and he was telling me about it. I was like, dude, I want to go to all those places.
Yeah, man, fucking the balls on it to actually try and pull something like that off, and all completely independently as well, right? Which is even more.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I think there's like a documentary DVD that goes along with it. Isn't it? I've never come across it, but I believe it exists.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that either. That's awesome.
Yeah,
What a fucking band, man.
man. Band, amazing band. Yeah.
What a band.
One of my all-time favorites.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
I'm looking at that Hexis one. It's crazy. It's like
I saw a video from
Cambodia, Thailand, Nepal, Greece, Italy, Indonesia, Australia. It's like it's fucking bananas.
I saw a video of them playing in India, Mumbai or something like that, you know, and it was just, I mean, it was like in a courtyard and there's like 4,000 people, you know, but I mean, like, come on, cool. It's fucking India. There's 1.4 billion people in that fucking country.
Yeah. And I don't think that metal bands come through very often. Like I always, like,
you ever listen to metal bands from India?
I don't think I've listened to anything.
Bloodywood, I think I've come across before, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's been like 2 that I've seen, and they're always like mix Indian music with metal.
Yeah.
Oh man!
Think of that like Parkway Drive DVD where they play in India, and it's just insane. Like the crowd just go completely balmy.
I bet.
Yeah. And there's a bit where they're like buying their own merch from a stall on a market, which is really funny.
We played in like Mexico, which is another place. Not a lot of bands tour down in Mexico, and those shows, man, it's just like the ever appreciation of these people. You know, like in America, everybody here is they're spoiled. You know, everybody that lives in a big city, like every cool band in the world comes to fucking Detroit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though I'm 2-hour drive away, at least like everything comes to me, you know. Yeah. But you go to these other countries that don't get that music every time, and man, they just show appreciation to bands.
Absolutely.
You guys just announced a tour, didn't you? And it's absolutely awesome. You've got some great supports on there, like Mutilatred and this band that I recently discovered called Implosive Discordance, which are like playing like a really cool sort of old school deathcore vibe.
They're actually an old school band. They're back. They're a band that's been around since like MySpace days.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's amazing. You got like Thinner on it as well. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah, Noisy Neighbors is on the Texas dates. April. Actually, the kickoff day was supposed to be 4/20 here in Michigan because we got legal rec weed. And I had this whole plan of doing like this fest and trying to get like some weed shops involved. And literally everything that we fucking tried to get a hold of was already taken up by some like ICP related something. So it's like every venue was booked with some Juggalo shit. So we ended up having to push it back to the 4/19 is our kickoff. But we are playing in Pittsburgh on 4/20, which is, they at least have medical weed, so you know it's not as good as Michigan's, but it'll be all right.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, and it's like 16 days, just doing like the South and stuff. You know, honestly, like we're like I said at the beginning of this thing, I'm 41 in 2 weeks. You know, like we got jobs. I'm a mailman. I have X amount of time off. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But that's why I'm doing fun stuff like putting out a remix record, because it's like I know that I can't tour to continue to support this band or continue to promote this band, but what better way to promote music than with more music?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Leading people to up and coming artists and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like the whole collaborative thing.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, just like the whole Relapses thing and the collaboration and working with other bands and stuff is just too amazing. It's just been so great.
Hell yeah. You guys played the Meth release show recently.
Yes.
We fucking love that band. How was that? How was it?
Absolutely fucking awesome. Hey, we're like they're like our best friend band.
Oh, nice.
Seb used to book See You Next Tuesday like years and years ago.
Oh, okay.
He works for like a big booking agency in Chicago now. And we did a little 4-day weekend back in May with them. And it was like first show. This is exactly how things went down. We're sitting at the venue, we're in our van, and we see this other van pull up across the street. So I write on a big piece of paper, and I wrote meth ? And they roll down and give me a thumbs up. So I wrote on the back of the piece of paper, hugs ? And held it up. And they instantly all got out of the van. And I'm like, friendship. So they asked us on that tour. They knew that in February their record was coming out back in May, and he asked me sometime on that tour, even was like, hey, sometime in February we're doing a release show, would you guys be interested? And we're like, well, fuck yeah, we're best friends now, so duh. And like their live performance is fucking breathtaking. Like Amazing. They are so. Like, their record is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've listened to Shame 3 or 4 times now since it's came out, and it's wonderful. But live is they're a live band, man. They're the energy that they bring to the table, and like just the artisticness. I mean, like Seb beats his face against the wall and bleeds and just walks out of the venue when they're done. And you know what I mean? Like they set up all these lamps with red light bulbs in them and turn all the lights in the venue off. It's an experience, man. We played it.
Yeah, they've just announced some shows in the UK, so they're
absolutely.
coming over to support. They're playing with Chat Pile, so that's definitely
Chat Pile's fucking awesome too.
We have to go to that for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're the nicest.
Basically,
they're the nicest dudes too. So if you guys want them on here, I'll absolutely get them on for you.
Sweet.
But yeah, man, we played this place called the Talia Hall, which is like this big, kind of like more old school theater type of situation. You know, the big dome ceiling, basically like every architecture you guys have. But instead of setting up on this giant stage, they erected a stage in the middle of the floor. And like they let people set all around us. So during Meth's set, they kind of set up like in a square and had like their own thing going. And they had this big crowd around them, and like people were up on the balcony, and it was a vibe, man. And they fucking killed it. During our set, because it was a big roundabout thing, we managed to get this humongous fucking circle pit going that was literally going around the entire stage, and it was fucking Epic. Yeah, there's a couple videos on our Instagram if you get a chance to check them out, man. It's fucking awesome.
Cool.
It was so badass. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Def Club was on that little 3-day weekend we did too, and it was so cool hanging out with Justin Pearson and being a nerd and being like, I love your band.
Amazing.
Our drummer brought some Locust records and had him sign them, and it was
amazing.
adorable.
That's cool, yeah. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. You can't pass up on that opportunity.
Yeah, man, it was really cool though. Really, really cool. Really great guy. Their drummer plays in Glassing, who's on tour with Author Punisher now. So
yeah, they're
another
sick,
really.
man. They got
album
so
coming
fucking
there's a
good.
Glassing.
April.
Isn't there a Glassing record coming very soon?
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah,
soon.
I think
Yeah,
we're gonna be covering
they just.
that shit for sure.
Yeah, their drummer Scott is he's a machine, man. He plays in Def Club too, and that dude can play some drums, and he's also a sweetheart. So you guys will enjoy having him on.
Hell yeah! Oh man, this has been really fun. Thank you for chatting with us. Before you go, I just wanted to ask you, like, what are there any records this year that you're really excited about? Anything upcoming that you're into that you can't wait to hear?
So obviously you must be friends with Kyle from Body Snatcher, right? Because he's on the Relapses record.
Yeah.
Have you by any chance come across their new record at all at any point? And is it fucking amazing? Because I'm really excited about it.
I have not. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Kyle's relationship with us and Body Snatcher's relationship with us are two entities.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, and I respect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Kyle is. This is how like the whole Kyle thing went down. Like literally, when we announced our record, he messaged the band and was just like, "Holy shit! I was too young to see you guys live back in the day, and I was in high school. I used to like." He's been a fan of See Next Tuesday since he was like 13. And he just like professed his love for See Next Tuesday. So when this whole thing came up and I was looking for a guest vocalist, I was just like, you know what, I should shoot my shot, see if Kyle would be interested in. And he was like head over heels, so stoked at the idea. He still to this day is like, man, it was an honor doing this on a See You Next Tuesday song. But with that, you know, like we have to also respect that, you know, like Body Snatcher is not going to post this random grindcore band shit to their following. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know any of the other members of the band. I'm sure they're all lovely dudes if they got Kyle in the band, but I've never actually talked to any of them except for Kyle. So
I'm really excited. They've been growing in the last couple of records, and I believe they've gone to Will Putney for this new one. So I'm really excited to see.
Oh, okay.
Out. Yeah.
Right on. I'm trying to think if there's. I know there's. Do you know the band Gummo? They're from North France.
Gummo? No. That rings a bell, though. That definitely rings a bell. I feel like somebody else has told me to listen to them recently.
They're really, really, really good. They just did a split with Jetsam, which I didn't really listen to that side much, but the Gummo stuff is fucking awesome. They're kind of like groovy. They're a 8-string guitar player that does the guitar and bass things simultaneously.
Cool. And
he does like a lot of like groovy, like I don't want to say Pantera because there's nothing about him that sounds like Pantera, but I always think about that when I think of like groovy metal, you know, because Dimebag was the king of writing fucking riffs. But they have those fucking earworm songs that just get stuck in your head all the time.
Okay.
And they just posted some stuff that they're doing. And I Gadget was teasing some stuff. Another grindcore band from Scandinavia somewhere. I listen to a lot of European bands that you guys in Europe don't know about.
Yeah, the irony is not lost on us.
I listen to a shitload of grindcore, mostly grindcore stuff. Like my album of the year for 2023 was Sulfuric Cautery's record that came out. They're like this hyper gore grind from California. They're also been posting stuff that he's been in the studio. Their drummer Isaac is like the brain of the operation, just a fucking machine. Like it's like gravity rolls into hyper blasts into gravity rolls, and just it's disgusting. I don't know if you know that band at all.
No, what did you say it was called again?
Sulfuric Cautery. It's like a white album with blue thing, like a blue smashed face on it. That record, that was my number one listen to record in 2023. It fucking rips. Like it's just noise, and I know that, and it's just a pinging snare, and literally down-tuned guitars is completely undiscernible, but just it's 16 minutes of pure bliss.
Yeah, loads of 30-second tracks, loads of all capitals, all capital titles. Fucking awesome. I love it.
It's great stuff. Yeah, so I mean, like these, there's like the bands that I like. They're not the bands that are posting singles and stuff. They're the bands that post like a screenshot of their broken stick in the studio.
And then there's 16 tracks they just disappear. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm definitely going to check those out. Might put a little list together, and we'll maybe put it in the things in the
That'd be cool.
in the
Yeah,
links.
yeah,
What do you call it? In the description. That's the word.
Yeah.
These
All the
recommendations,
bands
stick 'em in the
that Drew
description.
from See You Next Tuesday is in love with.
Fuck yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
they're all weird grindcore bands.
We wouldn't have it any other way. If you were just
Yeah.
like, actually, I'm just banging to trap right now, we'd be like, what the fuck's going on? It wouldn't be correct.
Nope.
I was going to ask you, is it rude to ask you? Are you considering a further See You Next Tuesday album with, or like, are you going to sit on it for a bit? What's the haps there? What are you thinking?
Well, as I mentioned that we're not going to be touring a ton after this tour we got coming up. So, what better way to promote music is with more music? I always say.
Yeah. And you're going to require further distractions. Let's be honest.
I mean, I got all this right now.
Ah, there he goes. So maybe there's something coming down the pike. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
and I will tell you, I will say this too. It's been amazing to work in collaboration with other artists. So I do feel as if that is going to be something you'll see more out of us.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it makes
fucking
sense that
sick.
it would inform, anything further when this has been such a success. You can,
Yeah.
yeah. just
It's one of
continue
those
having a
things
fucking
where it's
great
like, I was talking with Chad from Frontier. Him and I sat in on a podcast last week together. So we got to, it was nice because I've never talked to him on the phone or anything. We've only mostly exchanged texts and stuff like that. So it was nice to actually sit down and like chit chat with him too. And he was talking about like the reception of the Gold Room, because obviously it's not See You Next Tuesday and it's not Frontier, right? But it's one of those things where it's like, if you think about it, that song would never have existed if it wasn't for these two bands getting together to make it. Same with like, you listen to stuff like that Nothing in Full of Hell record. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of like the best, I think that's one of the best records that Full of Hell's put out, period. Like it's phenomenal. And again, it's not Full of Hell and it's not Nothing, but like what they make together is just something that's so special. And I think that's just something you can't ignore. You know what I mean? Like more bands should start doing that shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Big up
definitely.
the collabs.
Yeah, mate. Fucking sick. Awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out, Drew.
Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate
we are
you.
big old massive fans of your band, and everybody needs to check out this record. Relapses. It comes out this week. Fucking get your ear rolls around it.
Yeah. Sick.
Hey, you guys, did you guys get the copy to listen to already?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
mate.
did you?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you did listen to the whole record. I forgot to ask you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned Desired Departure. What's your favorite track?
I think it's the John Connor one. Honestly, it's so much fun.
I also really like the Thought Crime track because the way that they completely rebuilt that song to make it sound so different.
That one,
isn't it crazy?
Into like a MySpace vibe. It was crazy.
Dude,
it was pure MySpace.
It was like 100% like MySpace metalcore, but made on a computer. I was like, I couldn't believe that they did such a good job on that track, man. It's so fucking cool. That breakdown at the end, you're just like, what? Am I gonna start crabcore into this shit or what?
It was nearly crabbing, dude. I was nearly
Oh my god, yeah.
Crabcore.
I hope somebody posts a video of them crabcore in that song. For all those really TikTokers out there.
I was really happy to see Death Tripper was on there as well, because that's a band who our friend of the show, Otis, he's drumming for them. He's their live drummer.
Oh, awesome.
And so like I was in the gym the other morning, like on the bike listening through and then just checking in what the track titles were every now and then, and I just saw Death Tripper come up in the wild, and it made me so happy. I was like, it was absolutely awesome. So yeah, if you can
totally tell his track is very much him too. Like it's just has like that track stands out to me. That was actually when I got everything back and I gave everything a listen before it was even mastered. That was the one track that every time I came up to, I was like, man, that track just stands out to me. It's so cool. Such a cool, like, the way he did Fox's vocals sounds like it's like a shitty TV sample. It's so good. Yeah, Ian's a great kid. He was one of those artists that literally had no communication with me. Like I gave him, he agreed to it. I gave him the stems. I told him what we're hoping for a deadline. He agreed to that. And then the day it was due, he sent me an email with it. And that's it.
That's fucking amazing.
I love it. Yeah, cool dude, man, for sure.
Oh mate, so yeah, thank you so much for having so much fun with us. This has been really, really cool. We've hopefully we'll have this up as a nice little video so everybody can see us and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Drew, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate you.